I got the real list, y'all. We got the real list over here on Keep the Vision. The top 10 WNBA players are here. I got a few honorable mentions. I got a few, not too many, because I'm not, look, this is a prestigious list. When you make the KTV top 10, you got to be like that. You got to be built like that. You got to be built like that. Let's not waste no time. Let's not play no games. These are the top 10 WNBA players in order. We're going from 10 to 1. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell.
So picture this. Caitlin Clark, the player everyone's already calling the face and future of women's basketball, somehow didn't even break into the top 2 on KTV's real WNBA top 10 list. Instead, she landed at number 3, and that ranking sent shockwaves through the basketball world. This wasn't just another casual list made for clicks. It was the one every player pays attention to. And it made one thing crystal clear. Even with all the hype, the sellout crowds, and the historic TV ratings, the league's established stars aren't giving up their thrones just yet. The host, known for their brutally honest takes, didn't hold back at all. They praised Clark's explosive talent and how her limited minutes still showcased her unbelievable skill set, but admitted it wasn't quite enough to unseat the seasoned veterans who've dominated for years. Naturally, the internet went wild. Fans argued, reporters debated, and analysts dissected every angle of it, all trying to figure out how the most talked about player in the sport could end up in such a controversial spot on that list.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, in case you did not know this, media availability is part of WNBA contracts. All right, these athletes have an obligation, and look, this is the case in most sports as well. With player contracts, you're supposed to be available to talk to the media. Remember Marshawn Lynch?
From the very start, the message was loud and unmistakable. Only the absolute elite of the WNBA were making this list. No fluff, no sympathy picks, just pure basketball dominance. Still, the panel showed a hint of generosity, handing out a few honorable mentions before diving into the real rankings. Paige Buchers, for instance, had a phenomenal rookie season, dazzling fans with her poise and scoring touch. But in the end, her team's inability to deliver when it counted most kept her on the outside looking in. And believe it or not, even Jonquel Jones, yes, the 2024 Finals MVP, didn't make the cut. The host didn't sugarcoat it either, calling her regular season hot garbage and her playoff performance a major letdown compared to expectations. Then came the shocker. Longtime fan favorite Kelsey Plum, who the host openly admitted was their personal second favorite player to watch, also missed the list by the narrowest margin. If those names couldn't crack the top 10, you knew this ranking was about to get ruthless. Every player who made it in would face serious scrutiny, endless comparisons, and non-stop debate. Because in a season this competitive, just being mentioned meant you'd done something extraordinary.
Let's go at it. Let's go at it. I want to know who's in your top 10, because I know your top 10 is not better than the KTV top 10. I know that right now. Honorable mention. Honorable mention. I am going to go with Paige Buchers. You made my honorable mention list. Hell of a rookie season, but your team won like 5-6 games. I'm sorry. Paige Buchers on the outside looking in on my top 10. Sorry, Paige, but I believe after next season, you will probably crack my top 10. Another one on the outside looking in on my top 10, Jonquel Jones.
Sabrina. Kicking off the countdown at number 10 is none other than Sabrina Ionescu, and her spot immediately set social media ablaze. Fans were split right down the middle. Some thought she was ranked too low, others argued she didn't even belong. And honestly, that reaction says everything about the kind of season she's had. It's been a mix of brilliance and inconsistency, a campaign filled with flashes of superstardom alongside stretches where she seemed to fade. But even in what many critics called a down year, Sabrina still put up numbers that most players in the league could only wish for. Roughly 18.5 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists a night. More than that, she was the emotional heartbeat of a team that battled its way deep into the playoffs. Sure, the host called out her rough shooting stretches under postseason pressure, but they also gave her full credit for showing up when everything was on the line. What this ranking really highlights is that KTV's list isn't just about stats, it's about impact. It rewards leadership, toughness, and those clutch moments when the lights burn brightest. And by those standards, Sabrina Ionescu more than earned her place among the league's elite.
It's basketball. And if you're going to run your mouth, and let's be real, Angel Reese runs her mouth a lot about a lot of different things. Well, the media has twisted it. You've done a very, very fine job of saying some very unprofessional things. Nobody's had to twist your words. Let's not get confused. Take responsibility. You know, let's just, my God. Take responsibility for the things that you say and your actions.
Sliding into number 9 is none other than Sadis Sabali, better known across the league as the Unicorn, and for good reason. She's one of the most versatile and outspoken players in the game, the kind of athlete who can dominate both the highlight reel and the post-game microphone. Her inclusion on this list wasn't exactly a shocker, not when you take a closer look at her offensive toolkit. Sabali's game is pure artistry mixed with power. She can pull up from deep like a shooting guard, muscle her way inside like a forward, and carve through defenses with the precision of a point guard. The analysts didn't ignore her occasional defensive lapses, those moments where her focus slips or she gambles for steals. But even they had to admit her scoring brilliance completely overshadowed those flaws. In the end, this ranking made one thing clear. KTV's real WNBA Top 10 doesn't reward perfection. It rewards impact. And when Sadis Sabali gets rolling, there are very few players alive who can slow her down. Her ability to single-handedly swing the momentum of a game proved that sometimes unstoppable offense is the most dominant weapon of all.
With Paige Beckers, you made my honorable mention list. Hell of a rookie season, but your team won like 5-6 games. I'm sorry. Paige Beckers on the outside looking in on my top 10. Sorry, Paige, but I believe after next season, you will probably crack my top 10. Another one on the outside looking in on my top 10, Jonquel Jones. You was the 2024 Finals MVP. We know you can do it all at the center spot. You were labeled as the best center in the league, and girl, you look like hot garbage this season. I gotta be honest, you battled injuries, all types of stuff. The way you looked in the playoffs, I can't.
Sliding into the number 8 spot is Aaliyah Boston, the Indiana Fever's unstoppable young powerhouse who's quickly becoming the league's most feared center. The host went as far as to predict that she'll soon surpass Jonquel Jones and take over the position entirely. Boston earned this ranking through pure dominance, controlling the paint, bullying defenders, and maintaining that relentless, beast mode energy every single game. This placement wasn't just about her current performance. It reflected a belief in her long-term trajectory, recognizing her as the future face of the position. The host even compared her favorably to Brianna Jones, emphasizing that Boston's skill set and mindset could redefine what it means to be a modern WNBA center. And then came the number 7 spot, claimed by Jackie Young, the versatile two-way guard and Las Vegas Aces champion. What separated Young from the pack was her ability to perform when the pressure was sky-high. Multiple 30-point games in the finals? That's no accident. The host made it clear that Jackie wasn't just benefiting from Aya Wilson's spotlight. She earned her glory through grit, precision, and pure clutch execution. Her ranking serves as a reminder that championships aren't handed out. They're built on players who rise in the biggest moments. New opening, championship spotlight, unsung heroes just as much as the stars. Even on a title-winning roster, the list made a point of separating genuine contributors from their flashier teammates. No freebies, just merit. That said, some picks drew harsh criticism. One player was called out for looking nowhere near herself this season, battling injuries and showing up flat in the playoffs. A 5-point outing in the Phoenix series was singled out as simply unacceptable, and that performance kept her off this top 10. The host rolled out a string of honorable mentions: Jonquil Jones, Alicia Gray, Kayla McBride, Kalia Copper, and Nneka Ogwumike, acknowledging their value even if they didn't crack the list. Sliding into 6th after fierce debate was Kelsey "Pistol" Mitchell, whose offense was nothing short of spectacular. Mitchell basically carried Indiana through a season wrecked by injuries to key pieces like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Her knack for carrying the load, producing under pressure, and lifting her team to the finals under brutal circumstances cemented her spot. Bottom line, clutch performances and grit in adversity matter hugely in these rankings. They're just as important as pure star power, and sometimes more. Before the tip-off even happens, there's this growing sense of unease. Players already tense about what the media might twist next. Even the simplest, most harmless question can be reframed or spun into something entirely different. That tension hangs in the air, as if everyone's wondering, are you actually here to talk basketball, or just to stir things up? Now, taking the number 5 spot is Alyssa Thomas, the league's triple-double powerhouse and an absolute force on both ends of the floor. The host praised her dominance, calling her a relentless enforcer who thrives through rebounding, defense, and playmaking. Still, they didn't hold back on her flaws. Thomas's scoring inconsistency, largely tied to those nagging shoulder issues, was flagged as a major limitation. The takeaway was clear. To crack the top 4, you need a balanced game, defensive greatness, and reliable offensive production. Her ranking reflected that tough balance the panel was clearly aiming for, rewarding her intensity while acknowledging her offensive ceiling. The segment wrapped up with a few more honorable mentions, names like Nneka Ogwumike and Kelsey Plum, both hovering right outside the top 10. In fact, the host admitted that Plum narrowly missed the cut, saying it came down to razor-thin margins between her, Alicia Gray, and another standout contender. Still, being just outside this list speaks volumes. The bar was set unbelievably high, and even elite players had to fight for every spot. Holding down the number 4 spot is none other than Breanna Stewart, a player who proved that even in defeat, greatness can still shine through. Her performance against the Phoenix Mercury was the definition of grit and leadership. Despite the Liberty being eliminated in the first round, Stewart nearly dragged her team to victory on one leg, scoring an astonishing 17 consecutive points in the fourth quarter while everyone else struggled to stay afloat. That kind of effort doesn't just earn respect, it defines legacy. The host applauded her relentless determination, calling her one of the few players who can elevate a loss into a statement of dominance. It was a clear reminder that individual brilliance can outlast any scoreboard. Off the court, the conversation shifted once again toward media attention, especially from players like Angel Reese, who admitted she often avoids interviews because of how easily words get twisted. She even joked that in today's climate, you could say the sky is blue and someone would still find a way to turn it negative. That kind of fear reflects the growing disconnect between athletes and the media, and it's a real issue that keeps many stars from opening up beyond their own platforms. And then came the moment everyone was waiting for, the real shocker of the list, Caitlin Clark landing at number 3. Despite playing only 13 games, her influence on the league was nothing short of seismic. The host couldn't stop praising her generational talent, a player capable of dropping 25 to 30 points while dishing out 13 to 15 assists on any given night. That kind of dual-threat performance simply doesn't exist anywhere else in the WNBA. They labeled her the GOAT, the Needle, and the Reason, because, quite literally, Clark is the reason millions are tuning in. Her 5-level scoring range, stretching from half-court to the rim, combined with her ability to rebound and facilitate, has cemented her status as the league's most complete guard. Then, at number 2, came another powerhouse, Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx. The hosts made it clear, if not for her injury spell, Collier would have walked away with the MVP trophy. For much of the season, she looked like the best player on the planet, dominant, composed, and unstoppable. Her absence became a harsh reminder of how quickly injuries can derail even the most extraordinary campaigns. Still, her consistent excellence before going down proved just how elite she truly is, a player whose value goes far beyond the box score. When it comes to pure impact, Nafisa Collier's recognition said it all. This was a nod to her extraordinary influence on the game. Analysts agreed that a fully healthy season from her could have completely changed the MVP conversation. That's how special she is. A player whose talent commands respect even from rivals. But of course, no WNBA discussion is ever free from drama. Some of the lingering tension dates back to last season's controversy involving the Indiana Fever, when the league launched an investigation after claims of fan misconduct. Critics pointed out that the whole situation could have been cleared up with a simple statement to the media, but that never happened. The silence only fueled the narrative further, adding another layer to an already complicated story. And finally, the number 1 spot, the crown jewel of the list, belonged to Aya Wilson. A world champion, regular season MVP, and finals MVP. Wilson's resume speaks louder than words. The host even joked about her special whistle and the 19 free throws she earned in the title game. But that lighthearted jab couldn't overshadow her brilliance. Her unstoppable presence, unmatched consistency, and leadership have cemented her as the undisputed best player in the WNBA today. Simply put, it's a conclusion that almost no one can argue with. Aya Wilson stands at the top of the mountain, and for now, everyone else is chasing her. Starting from the middle of the rankings, the tension really started to rise, and the number 5 pick was bound to stir up debate. The host didn't sugarcoat a thing, boldly placing Alyssa Thomas in that spot and defending it with conviction. Known as the league's ultimate triple-double machine, Thomas has earned a reputation as one of the toughest, most physical players on the floor. A true bully in the paint. But the host pointed out one undeniable flaw: her scoring limitations. Because of her shoulder injuries, Thomas's shooting consistency just isn't where it needs to be, especially in high-stakes matchups. As dominant as she is defensively, she's not quite the kind of offensive leader you can fully build a championship team around, at least not yet. With the full top 10 list now revealed, and Caitlin Clark sitting comfortably at number 3, one absence stood out like a spotlight: Angel Reese. Her omission sparked instant conversation. While the rankings clearly prioritized on-court production, many believe her complicated relationship with the media played a major role in keeping her off the list. Reese's fiery personality and outspoken comments have often clashed with reporters, and some see that as a distraction from her undeniable talent. The host implied that this mix of brilliance and controversy might have cost her a spot among the league's elite. A reminder that in today's WNBA, performance and perception both carry serious weight. Perception can be a powerful thing, fair or not. It often shapes how players are judged by the people making these so-called definitive lists. And for Angel Reese, that perception has become a major storyline all on its own. She's been very open about her uneasy relationship with the media, admitting that she'd rather take a fine than sit through post-game interviews. In her eyes, it's simple: her words get twisted, taken out of context, and turned into controversy. But not everyone's buying that explanation. Critics argue that many of Reese's issues stem from her own comments, not media manipulation. They claim her unfiltered approach often sparks headlines long before any reporter spins the story, creating a cycle she can't quite escape. Then came the baby goat moment: Caitlin Clark holding down the number 3 spot and reminding everyone why she's already a generational talent. Sure, she only played 13 games, but that was all it took to make her impact undeniable. Just look at her explosive performance against the New York Liberty. She completely owned that stage. The host didn't hesitate to call out Indiana's coaching decisions, suggesting that Clark's greatness has been held back by questionable management. Still, when you're talking about a player who can score 25 to 30 points and rack up 13 to 15 assists in the same night, there's no argument left. Caitlin Clark isn't just a scorer. She's the league's most dynamic playmaker and easily the best point guard rebounder combo in the game today. When it comes to Angel Reese, one of the biggest criticisms isn't just about her game, it's about accountability. A prime example often cited is when she publicly called out her own teammates during an interview, then turned around and blamed the media for twisting her words. That pattern, the host explained, has become a serious issue. While it's true that reporters can sometimes dramatize things, in Reese's case, her most controversial quotes are almost always her own. There's no fabrication, just her words replayed and amplified. This repeated refusal to take ownership has fueled a growing perception of immaturity, one that continues to overshadow her undeniable talent on the court. Some critics even argue that Reese needs stronger guidance, a team or mentor who can help her navigate the media spotlight more strategically. They point out the contradiction between seeking attention through bold public appearances and then criticizing the coverage that follows. It's the kind of double-edged visibility that keeps her in the headlines, but not always for the right reasons. And the tension doesn't stop there. Her complicated history with the media extends far beyond personal interviews. Take, for example, the controversy surrounding the alleged fan racism incident involving the Indiana Fever. Many believe that one simple, direct statement from Reese could have cleared the air and defended the fan base, but she stayed silent. That decision, whether intentional or not, only deepened the divide and hurt her public perception. It's moments like these that show how her unwillingness to engage constructively continues to damage an image she could easily control. These kinds of actions keep feeding into a negative narrative around Angel Reese, one that makes it harder for her on-court accomplishments to shine without being overshadowed by constant off-court drama. The truth is, there's a certain level of expectation that comes with being a professional athlete, especially one positioned as a rising superstar. Engaging with the media isn't just optional. It's part of the job. It helps build the league, the fan base, and ultimately the brand. But Reese's stance, which she's openly shared on her own podcast, stands in complete opposition to that. Her willingness to take a fine rather than face the media paints a picture of someone who fundamentally misunderstands what her role represents beyond basketball. And when that happens, it creates a sense of hypocrisy, because while she avoids interviews claiming she's being misrepresented, she still chooses to speak freely on her own platforms. That contradiction chips away at her credibility and makes it much harder for fans and analysts to take her seriously. It's also a major reason why she continues to be left off elite lists like the KTV Real WNBA Top 10. That ranking doesn't pull punches. It rewards consistency, professionalism, and impact. So her anger over Caitlin Clark's top 3 placement, while she didn't even make the cut, really isn't surprising. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Clark is celebrated for her composure, leadership, and elite production, while Reese remains entangled in controversy after controversy. Until Angel Reese learns to take control of her own narrative and embrace the responsibilities that come with her platform, she'll keep finding herself on the outside looking in, watching as other players build their legacies in the spotlight she keeps pushing away.